Hello, good morning everyone. So in this video we'll be discussing about the stored procedure, and if you remember the last video, if you remember the last session, then in the last session we also performed the insert operation by using a parameterized SQL statement. And actually this is not a better idea to make a program. So what we will do today in this case is we will be just be creating a stored procedure and we'll be calling the stored procedure in our front end. So before we start, let us try to understand what is stored procedure. The stored procedure is basically a group of SQL statements, okay, in which you can write some small logic, and the stored procedure also act as a function. That means once you create the stored procedure, you can call the stored procedure for any number of times as possible. Okay, so today I'll be creating a stored procedure for making an insert operation, and then I will be implementing that stored procedure in our main program. So this is our major objective for today's work. So let's see how. So in order to create a stored procedure, let us navigate to the SQL Server, and this is your database. Online assignment DB was our database, so we'll right click on it, we'll create a new query, and for creating the stored procedure you have a keyword called create as a PROC proc or procedure sp underscore, and I'm going to create user. So this is the name of the stored procedure that we are going to create, and obviously you need to have a open bracket, bracket, and begin and end. So you'll be writing all your logic here. You'll be defining all the variables here. So I'm going to define some variable for. So whenever you create a variable, in the case of SQL, in the SQL Server, so you create it by using a special symbol called at the rate and the name of the variable. So this means this is the SQL parameter, and then followed by a data type and the size of the data type, size of this variable. At the rate password varchar, and at the rate row varchar. Let's say. So these are the fields that I will require to create user. Now I want to make some insert operation. So I just can go to insert into user table, and I can just provide some values. So what fields do I want to supply? I want to supply username, I want to supply password, and I want to supply role value. Where? Through what? I want to supply through this variable. So through this variable with this username should be assigned as @username, password should be assigned as @password, and the role should be assigned as @role. Our job is done. Let's execute this. Once you execute the query, okay, we have a small error here. Incorrect syntax near the keyword begin. Let's see what is the error. Okay, create procedure, the rate rule varchar 30, and we are missing something called age. We have to write age begin, and then only you can write. So you have successfully created the stored procedure. You can refresh the database and you can see. So once you refresh the database and under programmability, you'll be able to see the stored procedure here. So you have created a stored procedure. Now in order to execute the stored procedure, you have to do either exec or you can do execute and name the stored procedure. So now stored procedure name is create user, and the parameters are the one that you define. For example, you have defined @username, @password, and the role. So let us provide this parameters. Let's say I'm going to provide uh, @username is my username. Okay, Vinod user. Password is Vinod password, and role is admin, for example. So now let us execute this. Now using the SQL statement, you do not need to write the SQL statement time and again. You can simply go and execute this, provide the parameter, and you are done. For example, I can pass it 1. That's it, and you execute. So you do not need to write the SQL statement time and again. Let's see whether we have done or not. So if you start from user table, and you can see that you must have created some other users as well. Okay, so you have already called user Vinod user and Vinod user 1. So we did the work, everyone. So we created some stored procedure. Now let us link this stored procedure to our UI design. So let us say this is our UI. So nothing to be done here. So what I will do today here is just instead of this I'm going to remove this statement, and instead of this I'm going to write the stored procedure name, which is sp underscore create user. So this is very case sensitive, you have to be very careful. Create user. So this is our stored procedure name, and now instead of this command type.text, I need to provide command type.stored procedure. And username is the same that we define as the username. Password is the one that we define as the password. And obviously we would also, okay, sorry. So I'm mistaken here, everyone. So this is not for the create user. This is for a login page. So let me go to user form and let me go and create here. So this is the one I will create here. So let me remove dissolve and let me pass sp underscore create user in creating a user, and these are the parameters as it is already have defined, so no need to do anything with it. And then I need to call store procedure, and we're done. We are done with the work, everyone. Let's try to run and check whether this works or not. Okay, so we're done. So let us log in. Let's create any user. Let's say any user, any user, any user, and let's create user. So we have created user. Let us go to home, or let us go to login again. Let me log in. So you can see that we have been able to log in. Okay, so this is what we did with the insert operations, everyone. So we just use the start procedure, and now today also I want to show you some more stops here. For example, if I run this again, and today we just want to do something more here. Part time. Let's say we only created users. Now we also want to, let's say, retrieve the users, or we want to display that user somewhere. Whether you want to display it over here on this page, or you might want to navigate to the different page. So we can do any of the ways. So either I can display on this side of this, I can display below of this, or I can go to the new page and I can display, or I can display to the new page. So wherever you want, you can display the users list. So for now, let's try to display it over here. I can display it over here, everyone. So let's see how. So that won't be looking good, but let's try. Let us give it a try, everyone. So let us go to the view designer mode, and then there are lots of things that I'll be teaching you for the session. Yeah, so we want it to be below of this one. Let's say, for example, so let us go to the user form. Let's go to the source of this one, and then now let us go below this table. Below this table, let us create one more div, and let's call this as a class, and let's call this as a grid view. So I created a grid view class. So let us name this as end of grid view. Okay, so let us give me some style to this. 100%, for example, right now. Okay. So now let us take a grid view now here. So in SQL Windows form, we have something called data grid view, but we have a grid view, cron equals to server. And then we need to provide it ID. So ID equals to, let's say, VV user details, for example. Perfect. So this is the data grid view, and I want to apply some populate the list of users on this grid view. So let's go to the design part. Let us make it more stylish. So you can go over here, you can make it auto format, you can choose any format you want. So let me choose the one that I like. And you can also change some property of this. So you can go to property and you can change anything that you want to change for this. So you have lots of options here, and you can do anything that you want to apply changes onto this property. And you can see right now this is only taking some of the space over here, but I want it to be fully occupied here. So we can change some width property. So I want to set the width to 100%. Let's say I can set it to 100%. So this is going to occupy the whole width, and that looks fantastic, everyone. Now let's go and create a user, populate the user over here. So let us go and write our code. So let me go to the create user mode. Let me go to this button click, and the best idea is to create a function and call the function any way you want to call it. So let us create a function. So public void, and let us say it's get users. Okay. And I would need a namespace here using system. Okay, I already have it. Okay. I would need a SQL command, cmd equals to SQL command, and I'll be selecting all the list of users here. Select star from user table. Obviously, you need to pass the connection here. I also need a data table to load all the users. And now I will open the connection and I'll execute the query specified in SQL command by using SQL data reader. Done. And whatever the query executed, whatever the data is brought is to be loaded inside a table, which is not visible to us. So in order to make it visible, what I will do is I'll just bind it to the grid view. This is our GV, the data source equals to now. And one thing more we have to write is the data binding code. So this two code will bind all the users list onto the data grid view. So once this is done, now let us call this onto the button click event get users. And also I want to call this on the form load event get users. So whenever the form is loaded, you will see all the value populated onto your grid. So let's run and check how it looks. Let us log in with the credentials that we have. Let's click on the users, and here you have all the users list here. You have user ID, username, password, and role, and you can see this header is not absolutely formatted here. So you can apply some formatting on this user ID, username, password, and the role as well. Okay, so let's see how you can do that. And I can even customize this everything. I can customize everything. So for example, in the header, I just want to have a user space ID, user space name, password, and the role, and this has to be aligned to the left. Everything aligned to the left. So let's see how you can do that, everyone. So now let us go to the design mode of this. Let's go to the design mode of this. Let's click it over here, and now before you go to there, now let's right click, go to the property, and let's click on auto generate columns mode to false. Okay, so this will not automatically generate any columns. So right click here and click on edit columns. And here I would need a bound field, everyone. Add, and the header text for this bound field is, let's say now this header text for this is user space ID. And now we have something called data field. So data field basically for this is the user ID that comes exactly from the database. Okay. And you can have some styles here, everyone. So you can have a control style, you can have a footer style, header style, item style, so whatever you want to have. So header style, I just want to apply some styles here. For example, horizontal align, I just want to be to the center left. Okay, let's leave it anywhere. And this the vertical align, I just want to be this in the middle. Okay. Again, I want to have a next field called username. User space name I want to apply here. And again, I will change the data field here as a username. And the control style, I'm going to change the header style for this right now. You also can change the item style, anything that you want to apply. So let's say horizontal style is again the left, and the vertical align it on middle. Okay, again I want to have one more control here everyone. So let us say this one, I just want to have this as a password. Let's say password, and data field is also a password. Okay, I don't want to apply anything here right now. So header style is now again the same. Horizontal align, I just want to be on the left, and vertical align, I also want to be basically on the middle. And finally I want to have a last field called role. Let's have a role here, role, and again the data field will be a role, and the header style again is to be a left, and this is onto the middle. Okay, now let us change item style for each of them everyone. So item style also has to be changed here. So item style also I want to apply to this left, and this to be on the middle. Well, again let me change the item style left, and this one onto the middle. This one also item style to the left and the middle. Left and the middle. This one I think we have done this for this. Then we have done this. So now click OK once you have done. So we have done, and it looks more beautiful, more professional, everyone. So you can edit columns, and you can even apply for the header. You can make the header more larger size, or you can increase the height with whatever you want to do. Let's cancel this for now, and let's run and check how it looks. Let's run and see. Let's see users, and you can see now this is more appropriate. So you have user space ID, user space name, password, and role. This is more professionally aligned if you want. Okay, this is more professionally aligned. So this is going there because we might have applied some on padding and everything, so that this is going approved like this. No problem. So we can, that's a part of the CSS. We can control it right now. Okay, everyone. So we'll take a leave now. Okay. So we have learned how to work on with the stored procedure, and we'll be continuing working with the stored procedure again. And in our later session, we'll be also creating a single stored procedure that performs all the works like insert, update, and delete operations. Okay. So till then, take care. Goodbye, and see you in the next video.